talking about college athletes in California are now able to make money off their own names, and now South Carolina is also proposing the same bill. So now we could have two states where collegiate athletes are allowed to make money off their own names. Matt, what's your thoughts on this?
I think it's interesting. I think we kind of saw this coming, especially with Zion and how popular he was, and obviously under the current rules they weren't able to make money off of like jersey sales or whatnot. But I think it's the right move. I think I've always said this about this topic. Will athletes ever get paid by the NCAA like a paycheck? I don't think it's going to happen, because I don't think you could regulate it in a way to make it, fair, justifiable. So by getting paid off your own name, to me, that's fair and justifiable. You can, just because somebody's buying, Zion's jersey, why should he not get anything, versus somebody at a Drexel State or something like that? Obviously, if
when have you ever known someone to buy a Drexel State jersey?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It should be like, obviously with all the merchandise Zion was selling, all the number one jerseys from Duke. Obviously they should be able to put Williamson on the back of that, and he should get an X amount of percentage, whatever that might be, from that.
Or to do commercials and get paid and whatnot.
Exactly, it's no different, than obviously selling something. Maybe it's a phone.
They're not even allowed to sell anything or nothing, huh?
Right. No, and that's the crazy thing is they see their classmates that are maybe not part of the NCAA and just regular college kids. They're able to go. They want to sell a car. They want to sell a phone. Whatever it may be, and they can obviously do what they want with that money. But and I get it. People are going to say, well, they get scholarships. Well, when you go to play for somebody like a big time school for football, it obviously be like Alabama, Clemson, USC, these notable programs that bring in millions upon millions of dollars every year. In hindsight, how much is a scholarship really compared to what they're actually bringing in? Let's just put it this way: the university
scholarship can be taken away from you just like that.
The university is not losing money. Let's put it that way. No matter how, even if they got to offer, I think it's 30 or 40 scholarships or whatever it may be, they're not losing money. I promise you that. And so I think making money off your own name, absolutely. I think it's the only fair way we can get to this resolution of should athletes get paid. Yes, if your jersey sells, you should get X amount of, dollars per whatever. But the argument that every athlete should get paid a certain amount of money, you're not going to convince me that somebody of magnitude of Zion or a Tua Tagovailoa or somebody like that should get paid the same exact money that somebody at Kent State's gonna make.
Yeah,
that just doesn't seem right at all to me. So yeah, I like the move. I look for it to be instituted amongst the NCAA so that all participating universities within the NCAA can also have this same ruling.
Yeah, I agree with Matt here. Collegiate athletes, if someone buys their jersey or someone wants them to do a commercial or whatever the case may be, they should be able to make money off their own names. That just seems fair rather than the NCAA profiting off their names as if they're not making enough money already.
Money.
Exactly. One thing that was brought up today on First Take, they had Tim Tebow on, and he went on a little rant about, they should, care more about playing for the school and all this other nonsense, and talking about how he didn't have a problem with it because I guess Tim Tebow, when he was in college, he had, out of like all the jerseys in professional sports, his jersey was the third most high sell, right behind LeBron and Kobe Bryant, and he said he never complained about it. With Tim Tebow, you came from a privileged family, and I'm not afraid to admit, I come from a privileged family as well, and to the situation where we have money, and just like your family, you have money. A lot of these collegiate athletes, they don't come from privileged families, and they don't have money, or they don't have the opportunity to call their dad or call their mom or whatever the case may be, grandparents, and ask to send $500 down, or whatever the scenario may be.
Yeah, a lot of time these scholarships, this is the only way some of these athletes are going to college. They can't afford it outside of the scholarship.
Yeah. So I don't. Tim Tebow's. So I get his passion for football, and I'm kind of with him on all that. But in the sense financially, I guess it may work that way for you, but for a lot of other players, it doesn't work that way, and they may need this money, or they want this money, and they 100% deserve this money. A lot of people don't understand the time and effort it takes into I mean, I've never really been like a student athlete, but I can only imagine. I see these videos. It takes like a lot of work to be a student athlete. I have friends who are student athletes, on top of your honors classes and all the work you have to do, and practice and then sleep, take care of your body, do all these. There's a lot going on in your life. So they 100%, they put in a lot of hard work that a lot of people don't give them credit to. A lot of people just think of athletes as entertainers, and that's pretty much it. They're a lot more than that. And I'm glad that California and South Carolina have made this a law, and I seriously hope that other states follow in behind them, because I think every state should have the same setup to where if someone buys a Zion, I mean, he's not in college anymore, so I'll just use UNLV as an example. Someone buys an Amari Hardy or a Armani Rogers jersey for whatever fucking reason, they should get the money that's the people use to buy the jerseys and whatnot. So agree with Matt here. They deserve these paydays.
Yeah, when I think kind of to build on what Tim Tebow said, he's kind of living in a 1990s world where it was about the college experience, and that's kind of what he goes on this tangent about is, well, it should be about the college experience and, representing your university well and all that. But let's look around what's going on right now in this society. How many people are staying in college through their senior year that are, high-level Division I athletes? Hardly anybody, exactly. Maybe in football you might see it here and there, but you go to basketball, it's about the one and done. It's about go to school for a year, hope you don't get hurt during that year, keep playing at that level you were playing at in high school, and you're going to get that high draft pick, and you're most likely leaving school after your freshman year. If you're a high-level, top prospect, you're not sticking around for a sophomore, a junior, or a senior year. So it's not really about the college experience. It's more so about these athletes getting paid anyways because they're going to the league as soon as they can. So, I mean, really, we're kind of, I guess, making a generational shift as far as what we think of the college experience to be.
Yeah, again, agree with Matt here. And I kind of like the new, era or age we're going into player empowerment or athlete empowerment, where, before it's been the higher power, like management or people who run the NCAA, or like I said, in the case of professional sports, management or ownership or whatever the case, have the higher voice. And now it seems like the athletes have the higher voices, which is the way it should be and the way it always should have been. So I'm glad we're heading into that era. And yeah, and again, a lot of these athletes, they don't come to college to get an education. It's the stupid rule that they have to at least do 1 or 2 years. And even in football,
3 years.
3 years, I believe. They're not coming. They want to get to the NFL. That's their dream. These 5-star prospects, you can make the case maybe for these 2-3-star guys or unranked players, but these 5-star prospects, they're coming to college to get to the NFL. That's what they're looking at when they're making their decision process. A lot of fans I see get mad at players in the comments. You see a 5-star prospect picked one school or another, and you'll see the fans like, oh, we have a championship team here, why wouldn't you pick to go with us? And they don't really give a shit. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. When a collegiate athlete is making their decision of a 5-star magnitude of a top 10 player, that magnitude of a player, they don't care about, most of them, I will say, do not care about the winning team they have in place at whatever university. They're looking at the school that's going to give them the biggest exposure to go to the NFL. It's kind of the same with, UNLV. People are making the case that, oh, these new facilities are going to help UNLV bring in these top level talent. No, they're not. They're going to look at, well, how many players does UNLV put in the NFL? I mean, we got one guy to sign a training camp deal like in the last 5 years, Lexington Thomas. They're going to be like, all right, well, what about Utah? And Utah's like, we pretty much put 2-3 guys in the league every year. Where do you think they're going to go? They're going to go to Utah. So it's kind of in that, scenario that most of these athletes are just trying to get to the NFL because that's what they want to do. And same with collegiate basketball. They're going to whatever, Kentucky, Duke, or whatever the hell it may be, to go to the NBA. And that's why you see a lot of these athletes, they don't pick their hometown school. I'll bring up Las Vegas for one. Troy Brown Jr. didn't pick to go to UNLV, went to Oregon. What happened? He got drafted 15th overall to the Washington Wizards, signed a $10 million rookie contract, which is probably what he was looking at, because if he went to UNLV, I don't think he would have gotten drafted. If we saw Brandon McCoy go to UNLV, that dude was supposed to be a lottery pick, didn't get drafted at all because he chose, UNLV and he chose all the fans recruiting him in his comments sections and whatnot. Julian Strother picked Gonzaga over UNLV. Gonzaga puts players over the league. He picked Gonzaga over his hometown school. We're probably going to see Julian Strother in the NBA in 2-3 years. Chuck O'Bannon picked USC. He's having I think he transferred actually now.
He might have transferred.
He might have transferred, but at least got that exposure to play at USC. And I saw him on a couple mock drafts heading into 2020, late second round pick. So he's at least getting that NBA exposure or exposure at a higher level. And these what these athletes are looking for on the end. So, they might as well just get paid through their college experience because, for me, if I go to college and I'm not an athlete and I want to get a job at In-N-Out or, wherever it is, I'm just using In-N-Out as an example, I'm allowed to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
But so why can't these athletes get paid? It just seems that the NCAA has been stingy with their money, and I'm glad that they're finally able to make money off their own name.
Right. And now, obviously, it seems like, all these athletes that are in the drafts and whatnot, typically they're coming from winning programs. I mean, you can look at how many players per year Alabama puts in, Clemson puts in, Georgia. All these programs that are winning typically have the most draft picks, and that's usually because they have more exposure. There's a greater sample size to judge, and it's the same thing in basketball. I mean, most of the draft picks are coming out of the Dukes, the Carolinas, the Kentuckys, Kansas, whatever it may be, and that's not on. It's not on accident, guys. It's because they're winning. They're being put on more prime.
There may be some money under the table as well.
I'm sure there is, and NCAA will probably never admit it, but I'm sure behind closed doors they know. But nonetheless, these schools are being put in constant primetime spots, so all of America's getting to see the hype's building up, and that's how these kids are starting to get drafted, is because the media is seeing that. They're maybe not seeing the smaller schools like a UNLV, who is maybe in 1 or 2 primetime spots per year, and for the most part not really being talked about outside of Las Vegas. So again, that also factors into your obviously college decision as a student athlete is, what school can I get on ESPN Big Monday the most? Or, is College Game Day going to be coming to our school to cover the big game and whatnot? So, got to think about it.
Yeah, agree with Matt here. Anything else you would like to add to this?
None other than just the athletes getting paid, and I think this is
glad they are.
This is a good avenue for them, and I think it's the only
NCAA is punching the air right now.
There's only, I guess, fair and justable way that they can pay athletes, and everybody kind of relax a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with Matt here. The NCAA is probably furious about this, but boo-hoo. At the end of the day, they're probably
still making money.
Yeah, they're still making money. What are you complaining about?
Exactly.
They never really give a shit about their players anyway.
No,
so
they're still making money.
Yeah, but again, appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate your support. Matt, anything?
Appreciate the support. Thanks, guys, for listening. Enjoy the weekend of big football. We got college.
Don't get drunk like Matt.
Try not to get drunk like me, but if you do, I know a guy. Anyways, enjoy the games, though, in all seriousness. We do got our college football episode up along with the NFL. You got our picks on there, so take a look at them. If you want to pick what we do, you can go ahead. We're kind of 0 for 1 right now in the NFL, though. So.
Yeah, maybe not take our word.
At least too much. I don't know. College football seems okay.
Yeah, I think we'll go 4-0 in college.
Maybe.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
But thanks, guys, for watching. Subscribe, share. We got a lot more content coming for you. First show is September 22nd in the studio on the Rebel HD2 app, along with TuneIn. You just look up the Rebel HD2. It'll be there. Or on your HD radio if your car does have an HD radio system. Tune in, 8 to 10. September 22nd will be our first show. Thanks, guys.